Hello there, welcome to NTV English News Bulletin. I'm Bhavana Casey. In the beginning, we have the headlines. House of Representatives calls its meet at 1 p.m. today. Bill on Truth and Reconciliation Commission to be tabled in Parliament. Free Students' Union elections being held today after a gap of 14 years. Voting to continue till 4 p.m. Security beefed up in campus premises. At least 12 killed after a 6.7 magnitude earthquake hits Ecuador. Earthquake strongest to hit the country since 2016. Go on longer unless sanctions against it are softened. And Manchester City cruises into the FA Cup semi-finals by blanking Burnley 6-0. Haaland scores a hat-trick. Welcome back. Now we have the news. Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Pushpa Dahal is scheduled to table the Bill on Truth and Reconciliation Commission Third Amendment 2079. Likewise, Prime Minister Dahal is also expected to table the Bill on Constitutional Council First Amendment 2079. As scheduled, the Speaker of the House of Representatives will inform the House about the letters received from the Office of the President on assignment of different portfolios. Furthermore, the Speaker is scheduled to share the House about a vacant post of the House of Representatives member. The House meet is being held for the first time since the presidential and vice presidential elections. The presidential election was held on March the 9th and the vice presidential election was held on March the 17th. Nepali Congress has held a meeting of its Central Work Execution Committee. Chief Secretary at the Nepali Congress's Central Office, Krishna Prasad, joining the Dahal-led government. The meet also discussed party's future course of action and other contemporary political issues. Rashtriya Swatantra Party RSP has called a meeting of its Central Committee today. Party leader Dr. Mukul Dhakal said that the party is holding a meeting of its Central Committee at the party's central office at Basundhara today. Dhakal added a parliamentary party meeting will also be held to discuss the country's current political events and the party's future strategy. The meeting will also discuss the vote of confidence to be taken by Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal in the House of Representatives on Monday. Although the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party quit the government, it has not withdrawn its support to the government. Well, with this update, time to go for a short break, but still to come we have. Welcome back. Now to more updates. Voting is underway under the Free Students' Union FSU elections in the constituent and affiliated campuses, including the central campus of the Tribhuvan University. The voting that kick-started at 8 a.m. will continue till 4 p.m. The FSU election is being held in 60 constituent campuses and 1,040 affiliated campuses across the country. So far, the FSU leadership has been elected unopposed in 2 constituent campuses and some affiliated campuses. The poll, supposed to take place every 2 years, is being held today after a gap of 14 years. The election, however, will take place in 10 individual campuses unanimously elected their FSU office bearers. Meanwhile, security has been heightened in campus premises to avoid any untoward incident. Now to the international updates. At least 12 people have died after a powerful earthquake struck the southern coast of Ecuador. Buildings have been damaged in several cities following the 6.7 magnitude quake, which hit around midday local time. The southern province of El Oro was the worst affected, where emergency services have reported people remain trapped inside the collapsed houses. This is the strongest quake to hit Ecuador since 2016, when nearly 700 people died and thousands were injured. Officials in Peru say the quake was felt in northern regions of the country, but there were no immediate reports of casualties or the damage. of tons of grain through the Black Sea despite the ongoing conflict with Russia has been extended, but it is unclear how long it will last, with Ukraine pushing for 120 days and Russia calling for 60 days. Russia has warned it will not allow the deal to go on longer unless sanctions against Moscow are softened. The UN and Turkey helped broker the export agreement last July following fears of the global food crisis. Ukraine is one of the world's top producers of grain, but its access to the ports in the Black Sea has been blocked by the Russian warships following the invasion in February last year. You are watching NTV English News Bulletin. More updates lined up on the other side, but before that, let's have the highlights first. Welcome back. Now to more updates. North Korea has fired a ballistic missile towards the sea of the east coast of the Korean peninsula, the Yonhap news agency reported, citing South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff. The JSC did not immediately provide specifics on Sunday's launch. The Japan Coast Guard also said what was fired by North Korea could be a ballistic missile. The launch comes after North Korea the sea between the Korean peninsula and Japan on Thursday, hours before South Korea's president flew to Tokyo for a summit that discussed ways to counter the nuclear-armed neighbor. Seoul and Washington have ramped up security operation after a year of record-breaking North Korean weapons tests and nuclear threats. Switzerland's biggest bank, UBS, is reported to be in advanced talks to buy all or part of its troubled rival Credit Suisse. Shares in Credit Suisse have fallen sharply in recent days after it said it had found material weakness in its financial reporting. An emergency $54 billion lifeline from the Swiss National Bank has not resolved the issue. Regulators are trying to facilitate a deal before markets reopen on Monday. Highlights first. Now to sports. Erling Haaland scored his second hat-trick in 5 days as Manchester City cruised into the FA Cup semi-finals by hammering Championship leaders Burnley at Etihad Stadium. Haaland followed his 5-goal haul against RB Leipzig in the Champions League by claiming another 3 to take his tally for season to 42. He's just 2 short of the record held by Ruud van Nistelrooy and Mohamed Salah for most goals in a season. 4 goals, and substitute Cole Palmer also scored on a sobering night for former City keeper Vincent Kompany, whose Burnley side upstairs 13 points clear at the top of the championship. The draw for the FA Cup semi-finals takes place on Sunday following Brighton's tie against Grimsby Town. Daniil Medvedev has reached the Indian Wells final for the first time but needed 8 match points to secure victory over France's Tiafoe. Medvedev, aged 27, held off Oleh Tiafoe series to beat the American 7-5, 7-6 for his 19th successive win. The Russian 5th seed arrived at Indian Wells in fine form, having won back-to-back ATP titles in Rotterdam, Doha and Dubai. He will face top-seeded Carlos Alcaraz or Yannick Sinner in Sunday's final. Playing in his first semi-final in the California, observed despite relentless play from the baseline. Well, with this update, we come to the end of this English News Bulletin. But before we say goodbye, let's have a quick reminder of the major stories. House of Representatives calls its meet at 1 p.m. today. Bill on Truth and Reconciliation Committee to be tabled in the Parliament. FSU elections being held today after a gap of 14 years. Voting to continue till 4 p.m. Security beefed up in campus premises. And is 12 killed after a 6.7 magnitude earthquake hits equator. Earthquake strongest to hit the country since 2016. Grain deal. Russia, however, warns of not allowing the deal to go on longer unless sanctions against it are softened. And Manchester City cruises into the FA Cup semi-finals by blanking Burnley 6-0. Haaland scores a hat-trick. Well, that's all we have in this edition of English News Bulletin. We'll see you again with next round of English Bulletin at 6 in the evening. Till then, have a great time ahead and do stay tuned with us. Namaste.